Folks, welcome to the Midweek Roundtable. We have our usual co-hosts, Jeff Zananeri and myself, Roger Scott. Before I get too deep, and I have a way of getting too deep really quick sometimes, please notice and write down our email addresses in case you have any questions. Reach out to us for comments, feedback, good feedback, bad feedback. We'll take it all. Jeff@joyofthetrade.com. That's Jeff@joyofthetrade.com. And my email is support@marketgeeks.com. It'll get to me very quickly that way. Jeff, how are you doing today? And welcome to the Midweek Roundtable.
Hey, Roger, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, boy, oh boy, talk about volatility, talk about surprises from the markets. I mean, we've got Japan, we've got Germany, it has been a crazy time. What are you seeing? What are the threats? What are the opportunities? What do you have to say for yourself this week, Jeff?
I mean, everybody got caught off sides with the Omicron release. Nobody saw that coming. Anyone who says they knew the day that it was going to happen is full of shit. So you can't like, what you have to do as a trader is keep figuring out what's going to happen from that point on. You can't like bang your head against the wall. You can't say, oh, well, I got caught. You just have to start planning the future and the present. And so when that happened, I started to look into details, and we talked about it, about how virulent or not virulent a thing it was, right? Like, and so my first analysis from everything that I had heard, from everything that I've seen, was that it was more transmissible, but it was less deadly, less lethal, fewer people going to the hospitals so far at first blush. So my gut reaction was the market was going to move past it at some point as more of this news gets disseminated to the world, and people other than geeks like myself who are digging deep all the time to find the real information start seeing that as headlines. So this week we had that. This morning we have this Pfizer news that a third shot of Pfizer is like perfect vaccine for Omicron as well, which is awesome news. It's awesome news because that was like, even beyond Omicron not being super weak, that was the big concern, was that vaxes weren't going to be effective enough. And now that the Pfizer one has shown to be, or that they're fairly confident that it is, I think the whole world can exhale. So we move on to the next market risk contagion, which is inflation and the Fed having to taper.
Before you get there, and I do want you to get there, don't forget your train of thoughts, please. Just wanted to add that I believe Moderna came out with similar news a few days ago that they don't have it, but they're working on it, and they're going to have something within a short period of time.
Yeah, but the difference is Pfizer already, this is the current Pfizer vax works.
Got it.
Moderna has to make a new one. That's why Moderna's stock has been hammered the way it's been hammered, and Pfizer's is not. But
good. I'm glad you clarified that. This is good because I wasn't 100% certain on that. I just remember reading something about Moderna. Yeah, that's very, very. So basically, what you're saying is the shot that you and I got, the Pfizer vaccine that we got, it does work to some degree.
It works with two shots, but if you get a booster, it's like as effective as a normal vaccination double dose would be against the old Delta or whatever. So that's tremendous news. But we're taping this pre-market, and the market's like kind of not like loving it. It's not like an explosive move. I thought this would be like, but we've had some explosive rallies the past couple of days, which leads me to what I was getting at. And I thought this last week, we discussed this last week, the real big risk to the markets over the next 6 months is not the virus, in my opinion. It is actually, because I think the reopen will keep happening, and I think people will keep getting vaccinated, and that'll just be better and better. But that's the optimist in me. But I think that Jay Powell is going to be forced, because of this reopen and the loose money is still out there, he's going to have the gun to the head politically to raise rates much faster and taper much faster.
Yes. I believe you may be right. You may be very, very right on that. Unless
the stock market takes like a 40% haircut, in which case they'll save the stock market, of course.
Of course, yeah. I mean, the truth is, he's looking for any excuse. He's looking for any catalyst to. But it's really interesting, and I'll kind of talk about both of these topics at the same time. When this O variant came out, it was really interesting how the Fed was dealing with it. It was almost like they had their head in the sand. It was like, what? No, we're still. I remember the day the market had a nasty move because of it, and he comes out and says, no, we're not going to do anything. We're going to double down and go even more aggressive. I mean, he was saying that like beginning of last week. Time gets away from me, but But
Yeah.
but it seemed like he was like completely ignoring this O variant in his like O variant. What O variant? There's no O variant. We're going to continue our. Not only are we going to continue down this path, we're going to increase it aggressively next month.
Well,
So
I think he's already you're already seeing the signs. Like this is what happens when you make bad decisions, right? So the word transient, which they used for most of 2021, was the most incorrect economic assessment probably in my lifetime. It was the biggest misfire of understanding of what was happening in reality from a Fed governor in my life. And so that error uh, created a situation where they're going to have to make more errors, right? So to ignore inflation for the whole year and say it's just going to go away, and then it doesn't go away, it increases. And then finally, the political pressure gets so great because, politicians they care if there's inflation. There's nothing that kills momentum for a politician faster than inflation. And so Jimmy Carter was a one-term president because of inflation. And so
right.
You're seeing an administration who's watching their approval ratings in the toilet because most people are out there in the real world having to rent houses, having to buy houses, having to pay for vacations, buy braces, buy new cars. And they're feeling the damn pain. It's much worse than an actual tax increase of 5% could ever be because it's across everything. It's across all their spending. And it's in the double digits. It's triple that. So I think that the pressure politically, the Fed is a political job. These guys don't get elected by us, but they get appointed by politicians. And so it's still a political job, and there's going to be political pressure on this guy to make right what, the big mistake, the massive error of our lifetime.
Do you believe that are there certain sectors that you're seeing right now, aside obviously from the obvious ones like financial and insurance? Are you seeing any other sectors particularly getting an upside from this?
From the Fed having to raise rates?
From the pressure that we're seeing right now.
That's tough. You nailed you took away my favorite. So
well, I was going to say.
I'm more inclined. I make money short too, so I'm more inclined. Like I don't have to be just like a long investor. Like I'd say get some puts in some different technology places. When you see a 50%, we saw DocuSign go down almost 50% in a single day, and this isn't like some little, mom and pop penny stock that no one's ever heard of. This was a $50 billion company.
Yeah,
that took a halfer in a day.
And I really like the idea behind them too.
It's a great company. They're long term. They're going to be winners. They are winners. Like, the concept of like filling out 500 pages, of paper and signing in some lawyer's office to buy a house is so antiquated to me. But I digress. There's the real world where these guys missed their earnings by $25 million. $25 million is all they missed the revenue top line on. And they saw a $25 billion haircut in a single day. So what does that tell you? Well, it tells me that there's a lot of air in a lot of growth, high PE technology stocks. There's air. And so when air starts coming out of these plays, look out. We're in a different regime. 7 months ago, the beginning of the year, last year, you didn't have 50% haircuts in one day in high flying stocks.
No,
that's a new thing.
Yes, it is. And that may continue. And if it continues more, then the market is going to become a lot more speculative in nature, which may happen and typically happens before a big cool off.
It's been speculative in nature, but now it's turning bearish in nature.
Right. The answer that I was actually thinking of, and what I was thinking that you were going to say, was the energy sector, because aside from financials, the energy sector is the number one sector in terms of historic performance during inflation. Yeah, and I know you've been bullish on energies, which is kind of why I asked you that question. So I'm seeing a comeback in energies. I think the little pullback that we saw last few weeks, we saw a down market last 2 weeks. I think we're going to start seeing it come back up.
Yeah, economy is going to reopen still. Activity is going to still keep happening.
Yeah. So those are the three major sectors that I'm actually looking at. I'm looking at energy market. I'm looking at the financial stocks, including both the bank stocks and the insurance stocks.
Yeah.
But what do you think about healthcare right now? I think healthcare is let me tell you my 5 cents on this. Okay. So I think this Omicron or Omicron, I don't know how to pronounce the big O. I'll call it.
I was calling Omni for a while.
Omni, right?
Sounds
It's like the big O. They're gonna just
Yeah.
start inventing. The next one is gonna be Vega, Theta, the Theta.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
one of the things we've seen in the last 2 weeks, because we did not know till yesterday, till today, the seriousness of this strain. As we started off on this call, we didn't know that Pfizer will protect us, so forth. So a lot of the healthcare stocks, as a lot of stocks sold off, healthcare stocks had a major rally the last 2 weeks, and I'm seeing them starting to come off again. Pfizer as well as others. What do you think that fading healthcare right now is a good idea, or do you think they're going to stay propped up for quite a while because of the lagging? The fear with this Omicron. What's your take on that? I'm very perplexed on that right now because I could see it going either way.
Whenever I don't know why something's doing something and I don't have a strong case, I always wait to let it play out. My gut feeling is that Omicron's impotence, if you will, its lack of deadliness, the fact that this virus has mutated into something that they literally called having the properties of a common cold could be the beginning. I mean, I don't want to be too like blue sky scenario, but it could be the true beginning of the end of the pandemic.
Right.
If this is the dominant strain, then much deadlier ones like Delta start to disappear from the world.
Right.
And this is the one we have to worry about. And 3 Pfizer shots will vaccinate you. I think this is a sell the news type of event for healthcare is my inclination.
I agree with you 100%. And folks, don't
try to, I wouldn't be buying the dips on Moderna here is what I'm trying to say.
That's you took the words out of my mouth. And folks at home, I just want to tell you guys something because I know a lot of you will say, Roger's saying short health. So we're going to go and sell the highest momentum health stock. Don't do that. Do not do that. What we're saying. Don't fade strength. Jeff did not say that. There's a right way and the wrong way, and there are some health stocks that have been losing relative strength for the last several months. So you want to look for a downtrend and a rally. Don't try to fade the big three healthcares. That's not how you do it.
Pfizer with their amazing like they're also going to introduce like a therapeutic drug. So I think that's not like they're obviously like kicking butt in terms of their product. So maybe like don't look at those. But either way, I think it's a sell the news on this sector's event if we start moving out of the pandemic for real this summer, which I think we will. I'm starting to really believe that stronger and stronger.
And one of the sectors that I'm actually becoming increasingly bearish on, Jeff, I'll share it with your readers too and my readers, is the tobacco sector. I was looking at British tobacco this morning.
Really?
I was looking at cigarette stocks. They're looking really, really weak right now. Yeah. And if the economy does give us a little more strength, in theory, higher rates, the economy is expanding. I know it's happening it's happening in a very 2 steps forward, 1 3/4 steps back, but we are getting out of if you look at the longer term period, we are getting out of this mess we've been in the last 2 years. It's not a straight line. As I said, it's 2 steps forward, 1 3/4 steps back.
That's right.
But at the same time, things are getting better.
Well, that's why I love the Russell case still. I still love Main Street USA, stocks that are mid-cap stocks, great companies that make money, that need the economy to grow to make money. I love those. I love playing it as an index versus tech, versus like overpriced, like no earnings tech. I think
that's one of my trades. That's one of my trades right now. I'm long the Russell, and if you look at the Russell, interestingly that you mentioned that because the Russell has about 36% of stocks trading above the 50-day moving average, while the S&P is at like 56%.
Healthier.
Healthier. Yeah, and I think the pullback in the Russell was a buying opportunity. I had no idea you were long the Russell.
Well, I have that as a money link, but I timed out of one leg of it last week. I had ARK as a short, and we made 500% in 2 weeks on ARK puts. So I went for a little bit of a higher test type of money link there. Long Russell, short ARK.
I love it.
I keep the long. I knew this week was good. I had an inclination that this week would be a rally back and everything. So we covered kind of at the lows in ARK. And then, now I'm going to reshort it. I'm waiting for it to settle down, and I'm going to buy some new puts.
I like
in the next couple of days.
I really like that trade, Jeff, a lot.
Thank you.
I may have
Yeah.
to steal that trade. I don't know, but I like that trade. That's
You have to be
we've
a
been
little
talking about
tactical.
ARK for a while.
You have to be a little tactical. And normally I put like a money link and I just like I'm delta neutral and I just have a long short on at all times, relative value the whole time. But in this type of market, you kind of have to leg in and leg out sometimes from one side to the other because everything's kind of binary going up and down.
Right.
When the bad stuff goes down, the stuff that I saw that was getting really crushed last week and with the taper tantrum was all Kathy Wood stocks. They're all these stocks with no earnings that, if interest rates go up, they're going to be in a deep doo-doo. And I think that pain train is going lower. I just wanted to re-enter the short at a higher level, which we're at now, more or less.
Could not agree with you more. And also there was a stock that you mentioned a few weeks ago, Live Nation.
Yep.
I think that stock is going to be coming up right now because of the whole reopening, and
people want experiences, man.
Yeah,
people are clamoring to do things. They're going to feel safer and stronger. My son, my kids, and even like with the vaccine, like there's so much more proof now that the vaccines are safe, even for children. Like they put out one of the largest health organizations in the United States, like independent study, I think out of Johns Hopkins, put out a really like in-depth report because I have small kids. So I've been like a little bit hesitant to get the small kids vaxxed. I got my teenage daughter vaxxed. I'm vaxxed. I'm a conservative by nature, but I'm pro safety and I'm a pragmatic guy.
Sure.
But now this more data come out, and I'm just giving you like an anecdotal feeling because I think a lot of people are feeling this way out there, that it's super minimal risk for small children. So long story short, I'm going to get my children, the little ones, vaccinated as well now, so we can do more and more stuff and more and more stuff. And I just feel like that's the wave of society, how it's going. And they don't have to wear masks in school anymore in Miami.
Right.
Such a few, Florida had its wave last summer, and now we're having like some of the fewest cases in the country. So, I think things are starting to traject upwards in the reopening. And I think that's a momentum that won't shift unless Black Swan.
Right. Or they find out that there was a miraculous mistake with this over. I agree. Basically, I agree with everything you're saying. I think exactly that we're going to be. So let me switch topics a little bit. Instead of China, I want to talk a little bit about Japan. And I know the market's going to open soon. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
But so I don't know I don't know how much you follow Japan, but I've been following the dollar versus the yen.
I follow it a lot. Yeah.
And as you know, for those of you, I know you know, and I know, but I want to just kind of explain it to people at home. The U.S. dollar has been going up. The U.S. dollar typically moves up with inflationary pressure because the economy expands. And the yen has been the yen has been in the toilet for a long time. Right. One way to take advantage of it is to buy the cross currency, the U.S. dollar versus the yen.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take this analysis one step further. Because with the dollar increasing, you're going to be able to buy more of Japan's products, and Japan is one of the biggest exporters.
Japan, I used to trade like boatloads of Nikkei futures, and I can tell you that the tightest currency to equity correlation in the world is between the yen and the Nikkei, Japanese stocks. And so yen gets weaker, so dollar yen goes higher. I think last time I looked, it was like in the 113-ish range, something like that.
That's exactly right.
If it goes to 120 or something like that, Japanese stocks.
120.5 is the actual that even number that you're talking about. I was looking at it and researching it last night.
The stocks are going to rip. The stocks are going to go much higher, which is, I'll give you another free money link today for people that are listening out there that I have on.
Cool.
I'm long EWJ, which is the Japanese ETF.
Right.
In the United States. And I'm short an emerging markets ETF, that is heavily concentrated in Chinese stocks.
How did I know that?
Japan, short China. I have that on my Asian special.
I like that. Very cool. I gotta start following these pairs of yours. I like this. I love talking to you. I mean, we're on the same level, so it's great. Yeah. But I like
Japanese ideas. Yeah.
So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at Japanese cars. I'm looking at Toyota, and I'm looking at other Japanese cars because I think they're going to be. Because I think Americans, they sell most of their cars to America.
I know.
And America is going to be able to afford more of their cars in the near term if the dollar gets higher versus the yen. So I think
guess what? They sell them in dollars in the United States. When they convert them back to their local currency, their earnings look even better.
Right. right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Toyota and one more stock, but that escapes me. But it's also
Honda?
No, it wasn't Honda. I don't remember what it was. It was Toyota. Hold on, I might have it right here. Yes, I have it right here. No, it's not. It's not just cars. It was Toyota and Sony.
Sony, yeah.
Sony, and
I'm
Toyota.
trying to get a damn PlayStation for my kid for Christmas. It's
Sold out.
Nonstop. Like there's an app where they tell you like it's in Target in 15 seconds. Then you go there and the bots bought it already. It's unbelievable.
That's actually what got me focused on this report. Currently, PlayStation suite of products flying off the shelves. Amazon sold out of console. They're
It's
back
the
on
only
back.
one. There's Nintendo, there's Microsoft Xbox, but the kids only want the PlayStation.
Right.
Nothing else will do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's
Jeff,
what it is.
I know the market's about to open. I know you've got a lot of trades to put in. I've got 3 trades to put in.
Yeah.
I wanted to, again, tell you thank you for your time this morning. Folks at home, we've covered a lot of ground very, very quickly. If you have some questions, feel free to reach out to Jeff. It's jeff@joyofthetrade.com. My email is support@marketgeeks.com. Jeff, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week.
Have a great week.
Thanks.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.